Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis. It is September 16th. Xur is on Nessus up here in Watcher's Grave, so let's see what he's got. Weapon this week is Two-Tailed Fox. Shoots 2 rockets, 1 void, which will do suppression, and then 1 solar, which will cause a target to burn, and they can track to the same target. I wish this was just better, but for some reason, it's just not that good. Now, if you don't own it, should you buy it? Absolutely. You should own this thing because maybe it'll get like tweaked at some point. Maybe it gets a catalyst that makes it amazing. Still, Gjallarhorn is just a better DPS rocket. It's still a fun one to own, mess around with, so if you don't own it, buy it. Hunters, we've got a 63 shards of Galanor. Hits and kills with Blade Barrage will return super energy after the super ends. Kind of the same thing I was talking about in a previous video, but basically give you up to 50% of your super energy back, depending on how much you kill. If you're looking for a mobility build, kind of building some Blade Barrage, Solar, Resilience build, this is actually high in Resilience and pretty even keel on the rest. Low mobility does hurt it though for a Hunter, but depending on what build you're going for, if you don't care as much about mobility, you want more Resilience and Recovery for survivability, or you're getting those stats on other things, that could be okay. Low mobility hurts this one, but a 63 with high Resilience, if you're leaning into that build, could be good. For the Titans, we've got the Hallowfire Heart. This one basically improves the recharge rate of your solar abilities in general. When your super is charged, but you don't use it, it greatly improves the recharge rate. This is something fun to kind of use in like strikes, basically, if you're not going to use your super, but you just want to have your grenades coming up just really quickly. Maybe Grenadier is the modifier that day. It's fun to use. I don't see this really in in-game content, though, because of kind of the give and take of not using your super. Having your grenades up frequently is good if you don't think your super is like a great situational thing for whatever you're in, but overall, Heart of Inmost Light, still just more general use, get all of your abilities kind of synergizing off of each other, and then you still get to use your super. So it's decent, and it does probably go faster in the solar department than Heart of Inmost Light, but you have to just sit on your super and not use it. So I don't love that. It is a 65 total, not actually bad. Decent recovery, but very low in resilience and very high in mobility in comparison. Like if those two were flopped, then I'd say, yeah, buy it. But a 65, it's still a decent roll. So, I mean, some mobility is not bad to have, but I would prefer to see resilience here. If you don't own this one at all, 65 is, you know, no slouch. Definitely buy it and experiment. But I still think this just isn't top in the meta right now for exotics. Very solar specific, and holding onto your super is kind of a detriment to certain situations. So if you don't own it, buy it, experiment, but I think there are better exotics right now. For the Warlocks, we've got Transversive Steps, Strange Protractor, Sprint Speed Increased. If you don't own these, you may as well buy them just for that alone, because they're the only thing that does that. Each class has one. After a short time sprinting, your currently equipped weapon is automatically reloaded, so kind of more of a PvP thing. Now, granted, it does have 26 in recovery, so normally I would tell you a 59 total is not worth getting. This is not bad. Very high recovery for a Warlock, generally a good thing. If you're making up for your stats in other places, then you could experiment with this. You're going to want a better one eventually, but if you're going to pick one up for a Warlock to experiment, I've seen worse. Like a 59 with this stat roll, you could have a 68 and have it all in mobility and it be wasted. So this is not horrible, even though a 59 is not great and you'll want to get better. High recovery for a Warlock, can't really complain. Pick it up, see if you like the sprint speed and reload. If you do, farm for a better one. Alright, for exotic weapons, you've got a Surplus Hawkmoon. If you're one of those who likes Surplus, you know, basically if your abilities are sitting fully charged, you get better handling, reload, and stability. Depends on your preference. You are going basically maxing out range here and increasing your handling speed. I don't know if this is like the God roll. I feel like there's better ones for it, so let me know in the comments below if you feel like this is a good roll for Hawkmoon. As for Dead Man's Tale, you do have moving target, so if you're playing in PvP, you've got armor piercing, range, and stability and handling. Pretty solid roll, I would be honest, for PvP, that this thing is definitely going to probably intrigue some people for sure. Moving target, range, stability, and handling all going up. Can't really complain too much about that one. I'd say this is a decent Dead Man's Tale if you don't have it. For your legendary weapons, we've got Imperial Needle. If you don't own this bow, I would just buy it, just because there are not a lot of void bows in the first place. You've also got Draw Time Masterwork. You've got Tactile String and also Natural String. So you've got a decent draw speed on this thing already. You're going to have some decent accuracy. You've got the projectile velocity and reload speed from that, plus Swashbuckler where you can add up some damage. A decent one. It's not like perfect in perks like this. If you had draw speed would be better, but, you know, doesn't hurt to have some accuracy. Draw time and reload speed here, kind of a nice perk. And then being able to stack the bonus damage as you get kills of like red bars. It's a decent bow. I enjoy using it. If you don't own one, at least pick it up, experiment, see if you like the bow, see if I'm crazy, but I had fun with this bow. Not really too much else though. You got Royal Chase with Grave Robber and Quick Draw on a Scout Rifle. I don't really need to be punching too much. You've got Triple Tap and Demolitionist on Enigma's Draw, with a light mag, and you got some range. Not bad. That's actually a decent one. For Iota Draconis, you've got Heating Up and Cornered. It is a slow, it's a 956, you know, big high-impact fusion rifle. You got Liquid Coils, which would make it hit harder, but also charge slower. So I don't think this is an amazing roll, because if you're cornered and you're charging something very slow, it's probably not going to be optimal. Surplus and Danger Zone, not really too great in my opinion for Ignition Code. Spike wouldn't be bad, but you're looking for other perks here on Ignition Code. Field Prep and Full Court. Theoretically, all you're missing here is, you know, the spike grenades, and then you have damn near a god roll on this thing. More ammo reserves, and also extra damage depending on how far you are from the target. Spike grenades would make it better. Decent arc grenade launcher, if you don't have one and you're new, you could pick that up and do worse. Zen Moment and Kill Clip on Lonesome, though, that's actually pretty good. With light mag, with some stability, with some range. If you like sidearms, this could be one worth picking up and experimenting with. So, a couple decent weapons in the bow, a couple sidearms, everything else I'd probably pass on. Arc grenade launcher, maybe if you need one. Now, this is new. I've never seen Xur. Actually, I have 2 sets of armor, so this is going to take a little longer to go through, but we're going to look. Also, if you do not have the Illicit Invader plate, this is the stuff from Gambit Prime. If you're looking for this shader for Infusion, or not Infusion, for Transmog, this is a rare set to see. So pick it up, because it actually does look kind of cool. Kind of a unique set. So let's look at stats. We've got a 65 with high mobility, low resilience, and recovery. For a Titan, I'm personally going to pass. Even if 65 is high, missing the 2 stats that I want. Chest, 61, pretty even. Some recovery, some intellect, it's okay. Helm, we got a 62, again, something similar. Low mobility is good, and everything else being reasonably high. This isn't bad. I've seen worse. And then boots at 59, you can skip that. Here we've got a 57, not really to 53, a 53, and a 52. Okay, so these are going to be like just Transmog maybe. We'll check the other 2 characters, and then these are going to be where your decent stats are for the week. So let me check the other 2 characters for stats, and we'll wrap it up. All right, so now in the Warlock, it does look like, again, these are going to be 53, 49. These are truly just collections for Transmog, so if you need the Pathfinder set for any character, that's what those are going to be. Let's check the stats on the other ones. We got a 58, pass, 63, high mobility on a Warlock. That's a preference. Personally, I would want to see recovery a little bit higher, but you have decent discipline and a 63 total bullet. That mobility is just higher than I would prefer to see it. 63 there. Now we're talking a little better. Some resilience, some mobility, but high recovery. Then you got your abilities on a 63. Not a bad helm for the Warlocks there. Pretty solid. 59, really high discipline, but the 59 with highest mobility on the top 3 kind of hurts. So Warlock's pretty much just the helmet on that one. All right, again, Hunter, these are just collections, but for stats on the top, we've got a 58, skip, 61 with high mobility, high resilience, a little low on the recovery, but again, depending on your build, 61, not too exciting. A 62, low mobility, but now you're flirting more with a bit of resilience, kind of recovery, high strength build, and a 58. Not too much exciting for the Hunters on that one. Nothing I would really even recommend to just jump in and go buy. So a couple exotics you should probably own, test out. Shards of Galanor is a solid roll for more of a resilience kind of style build. Decent bow, couple of decent sidearms, okay grenade launcher, and honestly a decent Dead Man's Tail. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like below, leave a comment if you're picking anything up, or even if you just want to say hello. If you want to find me on Twitter or Twitch, it is Ebontis, but right here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. I've got more guides and information coming to you guys, stuff you don't want to miss. So make sure you join the family here. And if you guys are YouTube members or Patreon subs, thank you for the extra support. You guys are fantastic. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you soon.